I'll check later. Okay, what I wanted to talk about today was subliminal exercises, okay? Or how we have been so subliminally
Programmed.
programmed, yeah, that we don't even know it. Okay. And so one of the things when you're coming on to your spiritual path, I don't know who remembers this, but there was one big thing that you had to overcome, and that was something that happened in another lifetime that was bad for you, like being hung as a witch, or being persecuted for your beliefs, or thrown in jail forever. And so I think pretty much, everybody has to break that particular barrier. It's one that if you don't break through that barrier, you can't have the faith and belief that you really want to have. So I really have never watched as much television as I do now in my whole life. As a matter of fact, I never even watched TV for a long, long time. I mean, I got a television when my kids were young or something for them to watch cartoons. But now that I'm homebound, I watch more TV, and I have to be careful not to let all that sublimation come into me. So self-sublimation is what you do. It's also the same thing with my friend George Eanhouse taught me this when I was hanging out with him. And I said, I really wanted to talk to my soul and my higher self, but I couldn't seem to do it. And he said, you have to talk to your own soul and your own higher self, and you have to tell them that you want this and that you're open to it. As a matter of fact, he told me demand it. He said, you demand, okay, that your higher self and your soul tell you who they are. Okay. And so that was intriguing, but it worked. It's always the simplest things that work that you just always think it can't be that simple. But when it comes to the having the faith and the belief in the other worlds or other planes of existence, the biggest block that we initially come up against is that block of where we were punished or tortured or both for our beliefs. Okay. So there's a natural fear that goes on inside of us. It's the best way I can put it is there's a part of ourself almost that stands guard right there and says, don't enter here. Danger, Will Robinson. You know what I mean? So you have to, I always have to go within to do things. And my first experiences with going within were my study with self-hypnosis. I didn't understand meditation is the art of trance. Okay. If you can't go into a trance state, then you're not going to get where you want to get with your meditations. Okay. So what is a trance state? What does that mean to everybody?
I don't think they were like you reach a place where it's just kind of maybe dark and nothing's going on and you're just there and you don't know that time is passing.
Right. It's that space where everything and nothing exists all at the same time.
Yeah.
Okay. And so there's no need to qualify it, to quantify it, to understand it. The point is just to do it. Okay. So to go into a trance state, I really find that the self-hypnosis or any form of hypnosis will help you get there quicker than anything else. Okay. because you are sublimating yourself and taking yourself into that trance state. Well, what's in that trance state is the ability to relax. Okay. And this is something that, has been very hard for all of us in this lifetime. I mean, everybody I know has been through some pretty hellacious lifetimes. And so the idea of just relaxing was almost a sin. Okay. What do you mean just relax? How am I going to get anything done? You know what I mean? So that the visualizations that I have up on my YouTube page that I did with my classes for all those years too, those are slow going to get you to relax before you start the journey work. And that was the hardest thing for me of all. Okay. When I would go places in my development, and I would lay on the floor with like 15 other people, and somebody was guiding a meditation, and they kept going, okay, now relax your arms. Now relax your legs. Now relax this. I would be laying there going, how does this work? Okay. What are they trying to tell me here? So it's a type of relaxation that allows you, in my estimation, what I call moving beyond your own thought process, moving beyond your own mind. Okay. Where your mind is no longer in control of what you're doing. When you reach the everything that is nothing, that is everything, there is no need to control anything. There's nothing to do there but be there. Okay. And you can do a million things you want to do while you're there if you understand how to get there. Okay, so the reason we're doing these classes is so that everybody will practice with their trance. Okay, you have to get that trance stuff down. I read a lot of stuff on the web with these people that are talking about this or that or the other. But everybody seems to be leaving meditation out of the conversation anymore. Plus, there's even this whole thing about, there is no more karma. And I was wondering how a universal law just got changed or thrown out, I guess, be kind of like the 12 or 10 commandments, Somebody says, well, that one isn't there anymore. Well, okay. Where'd they go?
And who took it
Yeah,
out?
Pluto's not a planet anymore, right?
Yeah, why was it there to begin with? If we could just throw it out when it wasn't useful anymore. Okay. So the whole point of reprogramming ourselves, which is I'm doing that all the time, continually. I never stop. Okay. Because there's so much within me that needs to be reprogrammed that I've not ever reached a point that has said, okay, you're done with the reprogramming now. Okay. Just like I've never reached a point that said, you're done with karma now. Okay. Okay, what a nice thought that would be. But ultimately, okay, karma is the universal law of cause and effect. Okay. And because it is cause and effect, a lot of people think that it means right here and now, when in reality, it has to do with many, many life experiences, whether you were here in body or not. Okay. So because you are the creator of your own truth, because you are the creator of your own reality, okay, you have to understand that you've been programmed according to your parents or your external life or maybe something in school. Okay. And so when you're reprogramming yourself, you have to start talking to yourself all the time. people used to say to me, well, I don't talk to myself. And I said, well, then who are the two people talking for you to know that? Who are you talking to get that from? Where did that come from? Of course, you're talking to yourself. And not only are you talking to yourself, but you're talking to yourselves, because there's a whole bunch of you in there. Okay. And so we have parts of ourself that we've left at certain points in our growth or our development that we have to reinstate in order to reprogram them. So just as a suggestion, I will say, okay, let's say your parents hit you a lot when you were a child. And so your process of doing what's right was with being punished when you weren't doing what's right. So your expectation is if I'm not doing what's right, I'm going to be punished. Everybody understand that?
Yep.
Okay. That's where we reprogram. Okay. That's where we decide, no, everything in life is an experience. Everything in life is for our learning, for us to become, not for us to tear apart and stomp on and kill or whatever. Okay. Sublimation. And because we are in this age now with these cell phones and these TVs and these computers, these kids are just fully sublimated. Okay. You can't even get them to put the electronics down for any amount of time. When I took Jonathan to get him through high school, he did that. He says, Grandma, he says, I have to put the phone down. I know that. And so he would put the phone down, he would give it to me, he would leave it at home. And that lasted about 2 days. Okay. And he was like, I can't do this, Grandma. I just can't do it. Okay. That's how much electronics have become a part of these children's worlds. Okay.
Yeah.
So see, I personally, I'm 74. I don't know how old you guys are, but when I was young, we didn't have cell phones. We had one black and white TV, if we had a TV at all. Okay. We didn't have any measurement of what we were doing, except, if you go out, you got to be back at this time. Nobody's going to come looking for you, so you better just be back. You know what I mean? And we were given a lot of that responsibility early on without a phone for somebody to find us if we got lost or anything else. So I'm going to say with spirit, it's the same thing. It's like, we don't need a phone to contact them. We don't need a computer to contact them. Okay. We need a vibration that resonates with the frequency of the vibration that they correspond to. Okay. Hence the whole thing with raising your vibrations, raising your vibrations, raising your vibrations. Okay. So when people say something like, well, your guides are there all the time, they're always right there. That's great. That's wonderful. But they're not telling you how to commune with that. They're not helping you to understand how to reach the vibrations that you need to communicate and commune with your own spirit. Everybody understand that?
I do.
Okay. So I talk to my guides all the time. My guides talk to me all the time. When I say all the time, that doesn't mean all day long and every day's in a row. It means that, at various points in time, I talk to them or they have a need to talk to me. Like recently, I understood I need to do a ritual soon. So I will be doing that pretty soon. Okay. And I don't need them to yell it at me. I don't need them to make the ceiling fall in for me to understand what they want. Okay. I just understand. I understand with them. And I connect with them on a level of, and I don't know why, I'm a telepath and a lot of other people aren't. But when you're communicating with spirit, their frequency is mostly telepathic. Everybody understand that?
Yes.
Okay. They're talking to me through a vibration. Okay. And I have reached that vibration. I understand that vibration. Okay. And basically, I use that vibration anytime I really want to commune with them. So if we don't meditate, I really don't know how else we're supposed to reach these higher vibrations. I really don't. So let's go back to the sublimation of talking to your own higher self. Who has had the experience of meeting their own higher self besides me?
I know.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, I felt like a couple meditations ago, I really felt like my higher self was just right here. But and so I think I have felt it off and on. I feel like a when Al was dying, when my mom was dying, that's when I felt closest to. I had like this feeling of grace come over me, and I
That's
felt
right.
like, yeah,
Good,
so
good.
that's as
That
good as I
feeling
can
of
do.
grace.
Yes.
That's a good identifier.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Because when we are hurting, spirit will surround us and bring in that energy of grace to
Mm-hmm.
protect us while we're going through our crap.
Yeah. Yeah, I felt it really strongly.
I feel like I pretty much stay in a state of grace. For the simple reason that I've had one hellacious life. I don't think anybody understands that my life was just do, go, go, go. And when I say that, I mean like travel thousands of miles over here and travel thousands of miles over there and meet all the weirdest people in the world and meet the, you know, I mean, I really, really went places. And that was just on the ground. That's
Mhm.
not even including where I went to out here, astral traveling at all. Okay. So to say that I was in a hurry is an understatement. I don't, once again, I don't think that everybody needs to be in that kind of a rush. But I do think that they need to understand that they have a soul, okay? And that the soul is the intermediary between them and their spirit. That their soul is part of a collective, as well as individual in that collective. And that soul has oversoul, has oversoul, has oversoul. It just keeps going on. Okay, the ascended masters are our oversoul. Okay. And so they work with us through our higher self, okay, to help us to understand how to heal the things in our soul that are holding us back from achieving the peace of mind and the love that we want. Okay. So that's the other thing. I don't hear enough talk about the soul. I mean, I hear all this stuff that people, and I'm like, what? Where is the soul in all of that? Where is the spirit in all of that? Where is the meditation in all of that? Okay. And then I think, well, I guess maybe we're old fashioned, but I don't know anybody that can communicate with spirit the way I do. So since that was the route I took, I assume that's the route to take. Okay.
I think that's it. I think that they're trying to find other ways to do it. Do the same thing, but in a different way.
Yeah,
And
they
so
are.
the kids are trying to make it their own, you know.
I call it a shortcut that won't work. Okay? Because that's what cell phones are. That's what this is. That's what everything is, a shortcut. We have a shortcut to life now. And we don't even have to think. We can turn on our TV, we can turn on our computer, we can turn on our phone, and we don't have to sit and think. Okay? And the hardest thing to do is to sit and think and be at peace with yourself. Okay? Me and me talk to each other all the time. Me and me have made peace. Okay? We are now friends. But we used to be enemies to the max. And this part of me over here was what I call the critical parent. And this part of me over here was the damaged child. Okay? And it was like, well, I don't know about bringing those two together, you know. It started out that way and I didn't like it. Why would I like it now? Because it's healing. It's how we heal. Okay? Everybody understand that? So even though I'm using these words, even though I'm using the word soul and spirit and meditation, you don't need to know the words to actualize what you're doing. You just need to trust in the process and do it. Okay? That whole thing about blind faith is true. You do have to have blind faith. And that comes at the very point of you overcoming that barrier in there from where you have been hurt before, where you have been punished before, where you have been tortured before for your beliefs. So now I have to trust and believe, even though I don't know what it's going to look like if I ever get there. That's called blind faith. Everybody remember going through some blind faith?
Yes.
I remember when I told Spirit, I said, that's fine. If you want me to go with blind faith for the rest of my life, I will. And that's before they showed up. Okay? Because I knew that it's like, this was the way. Whether I understood it or had somebody, you know, standing next to me, or I knew it was the way. Because of all the ways I had been before that obviously were not the way. Okay? So what's one of the first things we learn when we do this stuff? It's how to love ourselves. Okay? Anybody, what does that mean? Loving yourself. What does that mean?
I think it means knowing yourself and saying it's okay.
Anybody else?
But to know that you're worthy of that love, that you deserve that love, that you have a right to be, you have a right to be loved and to love.
And that takes a lot of affirmation work, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
You know, I am worthy. I do deserve love. I trust that I'm worth loving.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Because what is spirit? Spirit is love.
Mm-hmm.
So when we're trying to reach spirit, we're trying to reach love. So we can't do it without loving ourselves. Okay? To me, loving myself was the hardest thing I had to do. It was like, you got to be kidding. This lady came and did a workshop at my house, and she had was working with it. She said, now go look in the bathroom mirror and look at yourself and tell yourself that you love you. And I couldn't do that. I was like, are you kidding me? Why would I do something like that? I looked in the mirror and said, oh, hell no. I won't be doing this. This is bullshit. So in many ways, I was the hardest student you could ever imagine. Okay, but the affirmations helped me with that. The acknowledgement, like you said, of the affirmation, like I'm worthy. Okay, I deserve. And you can even put it in terms of I'm a child of God, and that's why. I'm a child of the universe. I'm a child of love. I'm a child of light. Okay, if that's easier for you than just saying, you know, I love myself, whatever terminology you need to use it. I watched YouTube the other day, and I watched a program called Metaphysics, which is a podcast that has a remote viewer and another guy. They might both be remote viewers, I'm not sure, but it's worth watching. And then I watched another program that came up right after that with Greg Braden. You know who Greg Braden is?
Mhm.
Yeah,
Okay.
is that the one that just came out?
Greg Braden has written books.
Oh, no, I know, but I just watched one too. of his.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I have no idea what happens with me. I'm watching one thing and then it just takes me to someplace else. I must be on the right track here, okay? And the one thing I felt about Braden, and Braden was bringing it all very much to a scientific level of where it's all proved to be scientific, that none of this shit is airy fairy, you know, metaphysical crap. This is metaphysical science coming together. Okay. And what did he say? He said something, well, and he wouldn't shut up. The other guy never got to say anything. I was like, boy, you can talk a lot, Greg. But he was explaining I lost my train of thought. He was explaining that he had visited all of these ancient these Indians in different parts of
Right.
the world.
Chaco
Okay.
Canyon, he does some
Yeah,
workshops.
and he had learned from them that it takes that the heart and the head both have a mind. Okay, that you don't just have a mind in your brain. You don't just have a mind in your brain that they call your mind on the higher mind. You also have a mind in your heart. Okay, and that basically the way is to understand how to utilize the mind in your heart with the mind in your head to open you up to the higher realms. Is that the one you watched, Terry?
Yep.
Yeah. And I mean, you know, the name of my book is Getting to the Heart. All right. Somehow I knew that without knowing it in those terms. Okay. But I knew from all the work that I had to do on myself and Raefiel did with me that I had to bring everything from my lower chakras up into my heart to transmute it. Okay. If it wasn't transmuted in my heart, it didn't matter how intellectual or learned or scholarly I was. It had to resonate with the brain. We have to utilize our heart. You know, it's important. I've been hurt an awful lot in my life. I'm really surprised I'm alive. I mean, my heart has taken some big hits. Okay.
Mhm.
And not one here and one there, and like wham, 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 wham. Okay. And I'm like, help me protect this thing in here. Because I know somehow it is spirit too. Okay. So I always in my book and stuff, I say bring the stuff from the lower chakras and especially the emotional body up into the heart. Okay. And work through it there. and bring it to a new place so that it can release the energies of the throat and the head. Deb Martin, you're just looking totally confused.
I'm trying to imagine. I'm trying to imagine you're gonna bring. You're gonna align your chakras. That's what you kind of wanting to do, that kind of a thing, and then you want to bring up from the heart and the lower
Emotional
chakras,
body,
and you want to bring that all up through your heart,
the heart.
and then you want to take it out to
Well,
the
you
top.
want to transmute it first. The
Okay,
heart
so
transmutes. Okay, that's where you transmute the pain. That's where you transmute the ugliness and the fear. Okay, you can't transmute it until you can bring it up to the heart.
Can you
okay.
give an example of transmuting?
Yeah, well, we're gonna do it in just a
Oh.
minute.
Okay.
Good.
I just thought it might be easier if we know what you, okay.
In the meantime, I'm gonna go to the bathroom and then I'll be back.
All right.
All right, you guys don't get lost.
Hmm. I'm gonna go too.
Deb, when is your eye surgery?
I'm not positive, Terry. I had to have the cataract removed on that left eye on Wednesday so that Dr. Wu, can see through a clear lens. And I go and see him on the 13th, the week from this Monday. And I anticipate him setting up the surgery. The cataract surgery has to heal, and I'm not having any problem with it. I think it will heal. I think it is healing just fine. So I don't have an actual date, but I think it could be as soon as the week of the 13th, or the following week is my guess. So the bad thing about it is I'm going to have to keep my head down. I believe he's going to put a hydrogen bubble in my eye, and it presses on that macula hole. It fills the hole, and it gradually loses its hydrogen. And the hope is that the hole starts filling in. And
I'll
So-
visualize that for you.
thank you.
Absolutely.
There's 1 in 1,000 people, and I would love to be that one whose hole heals on their own. But so far, my hole doesn't seem to be doing anything. But thank you. Yeah, I believe it'll all be for the best, but it's going to be a process.
Do you have a lot of books on tape or like Audible? A lot of my patients have, or some of my patients have gone through this, so like they find an audio book is really helpful why you got that head down all the time.
I'm gonna get some. I think I'm gonna get some.
Okay.
Is
That's
this Dee? Yeah, and I'm talking to Dee?
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you, Dee.
Oh,
Thank
you're
you.
welcome.
Yeah, I can't see you, but thank you so much.
Okay, when I was in there, all I put in YouTube was metaphysical. And a bunch of stuff came up, and a bunch of it was audiobooks, metaphysical audiobooks.
Oh, that'd be great.
Okay, so I was listening to audiobooks as I was falling asleep in my chair, but I thought, well, that can't hurt. I could go in there somewhere.
Thank you. Great.
Transmute, to change one thing into another. So for instance, if you have water in a pot and you boil it, as soon as you boil it, you've transmuted it from a sitting position to a boiling position. Okay? It's the same with the pain we carry inside. Once I bring it to my attention and I see it for what it is, I can work on transmuting it from being that kind of pain into something else. Okay? What time is it? Oh, we're okay.
139.
Okay. All right. The biggest thing we want to do is heal that emotional body, because that's where all this stuff is stuck. Okay? All of our unresolved feelings are down there in our emotional body.
That solar plexus or sacral chakra?
Solar plexus, but mostly the sacral chakra, where your belly is.
Okay.
I hate this. I can't walk. I'm sick of that. Just a minute. See if I can get up. I'm going to get a cough drop. I'll be right back.
Does anybody remember when we did that meditation and we brought, I can't, it had to do with like your crown chakra, and you were gonna open up your eye chakra, third eye chakra, and that would go into meet your crown chakra, and there was like 7 points of light. Am I not probably not even saying it right?
No, it sounds familiar.
And then you open the 7 points of light, and they all go down through your whole chakra thing. I remember something about it, and it seemed like it would be useful, but I can't remember exactly how to do it. It was called the 7 points of light, or the 7 crowns, or
I use a lot of invocations and prayers. A lot. All the time.
Mhm.
That was the other thing I was trying to remember is people aren't doing that. Okay? They're not doing their invocations, and they're not doing their prayers to the higher realms, and they don't believe in the gods and goddesses. They believe that there's one God and maybe Jesus Christ and Mother Mary, but they don't believe that there's helpers all the way through there. Okay?
Mhm. Mhm.
Okay. In my Hermetic teachings, Hermes Trismegistus, he talks to his disciple Chat, and that's where he explains that God is everything. Okay, just everything, and that energy created what was called aeon. And that aeon created the mind of God. And from the mind of God came the creation of the angels and so forth.
Mm.
So there's like this big lineage that we know nothing about, okay?
Mhm.
That is far beyond us while we're in this body. But one of the things that I get from my guidance is that they are in things like eternal gratitude. Think about that. Do you think you could be in eternal gratitude?
Kind of hard.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
Mm. Right.
Okay.
Right.
I don't know how to do it. I mean, I have gratitude every day of my life, but I don't know how to be in eternal gratitude.
Right.
Okay. I don't know how to be in eternal love. Okay. Why? Because I'm a human being.
Mhm.
Maybe when I leave this plane of existence, I might be able to learn more things on that other level than I can learn here. But I can't be a spirit here now completely as long as I'm wearing this physical
Me
body.
too.
Mhm. Mhm.
Okay.
Mhm.
So transmute, I transmute, I transmute, I transmute. Good word to focus on. Okay, let's do a journey. And this one is a fun one. I really like this one. I haven't done it in a long time, but I thought about it yesterday or today. Did we lose you, Dee?
Oh, I was just gonna go over here. I'm here.
Okay. Now, some of the stuff that I heard yesterday listening to these podcasts was about our breath, the way that we breathe. I've always had a problem with breathing correctly for like yogic breath or shamanic breath. Okay. It's like, but you can breathe in through your mouth and then out through your nose. Okay. Jeb Martin, can you breathe through your nose?
One side I can.
Okay. I know you have problems with that, so. Okay, I'm going to start with a prayer. Heavenly Father, Divine Mother, we call you forth and ask that you anchor your light in and around this group. So what is for their highest and best good come forward today? Repeat after me, okay, guys?
Yes.
I call forth the power of the angels.
I
I
call
I
forth
call
the
forth
power
the
of
power of
angels.
the angels.
Michael, Raphael,
Michael,
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 Raphael,
Raphael,
Gabriel, and Uriel.
Gabriel, and
Gabriel,
Uriel.
and Uriel.
I call forth my soul and my higher self.
I call forth my
My
soul
soul
and my
and
higher
my
self.
higher self.
And I choose today
And I choose today
to heal and transmute
to heal and
and
transmute
transmute
pain in the
pain
in the past.
and the
pain in
past.
the past.
Beloved, I am.
Beloved,
Beloved,
I
I
am.
am.
Beloved, I am.
Beloved,
Beloved,
I
I am.
am.
Beloved, I am.
Beloved, I
Beloved, I
am.
am.
Now breathe. Take some deep breaths. Breathe in through your mouth, out through your nose. Now imagine, if you would, that there were a little doorway in your brow chakra. And you could step into that doorway, right into your own mind, into an elevator, and you'll push the button that says E. We're going to go down to the emotional body. And when the door opens, tell me what you see, if anything.
Greenery.
Dark.
Now I want you to take and go back into the elevator. Go up to the solar plexus. And when you step out in the solar plexus, you are going to step into a garden or a forest, or some people like the sea. Whatever it is that is calming and peaceful for you. And take your time. And you're going to find an animal that's going to help you take you today where you need to go. Is there anybody that can't find an animal? You're going to find a tree. And this is where you're going to create your sacred space. You're going to hear the birds. You'll probably even hear some water in the distance and the ruffling of leaves. Going to feel your feet on the ground. You're going to take your right hand and you're going to imagine that there's a beam of light coming right out of your right hand. And you're going to create a wide circle of light around yourself. And this is going to be your sacred space today. You're going to take and you're going to set up some stones to sit on. You're going to set up a fireplace. And you're going to decorate. You're going to make it cozy. A cozy, sweet place today. And as you're doing this, you're going to realize that there's some people on the outside of your circle who are watching you. These people on the outside of your circle are aspects of yourself. They may be the teenager, they may be the young adult, they may be the child, but they're parts of yourself that have been waiting to communicate with you. And you're going to invite them all into the circle so that everybody can get comfortable, everybody can sit down. And one by one, they're going to take turns telling you how they feel or how they think. And you're going to explain to them the new journey that you're on and how much you need them to join you. And you're going to call forth your higher self to be here with you and the others. And you're going to have your higher self let everybody know that they have a valid point of view, that we're not here to condemn them today. Everybody has a valid point of view. But that there's a new direction that you have chosen, a new direction that you are following now. And you want everybody to agree to try it with you for at least the next 3 to 4 months and see if everybody will agree. And if they can't, if there's someone who can't agree, just tell me. Then you're going to light the fire in the middle. And all the pain, all the baggage, all the backpacks going to get thrown into the fire. It's time to put them in there. Don't need them anymore. And your higher self will take your hand and the hands of the others. And we're going to go back in the elevator all together. And we're going to push the H button and go up to the heart. And when you step out, you're going to see a hill, like mountainous hill, that's got an opening to a cavern. I want you to go into this cavern, but I want you to take a torch with you so you can see where you're going. And see if you can find the cave inside this cavern that most resonates with you and your group today. And when you enter, there will be a very wise, very kind, loving being who will be welcoming you. This being I call the inner guide. Everybody has one. And as far as I know, it has no other name except the inner guide. And once again, you're going to take each part of yourself, and that part is going to ask to transmute whatever energies have been holding it back from feeling safe, from feeling wanted, from feeling empowered, trusted, loved. And you'll even come to the very weary part of yourself, the part that just gave up and said that there just can't be anything anymore. And that's the part that you're going to welcome into your heart. And you're going to say that was true at one time, but we're not going to let that be true anymore. We have to come together and heal this. We have to transmute that energy. We have to forgive and let go and release those feelings that have kept us imprisoned all this time. Take your time, start the fire, and talk to the wise, kind being, asking any questions you want to of your newfound friend. You will forgive yourself for the lack of faith that you've had. And you will trust that it's okay for you to step into your higher self and become one. And as you do this, the heart will lighten up. It's like all the lights will go on. So much light. And you'll leave this room and you'll walk around and you'll find another cave. And this cave will hold past life memories in there for you. And as you look in that room, you will see that it's like there's kind of a movie that's going on all the time. Like on some kind of reel, it's just going on, showing things that have happened in your lifetimes, things that you have known, things that you have tried to understand. And you will honor yourself. And you will say, I choose my empowerment above all else. I break through the unseen barriers that have held me back. And I align to the holy light within that I am. I am that I am. I am that I am. I am that I am. Go back to the room where the parts of yourself were and see who's still there. And tell them, I'll be back. We'll work on this some more. There's no hurry. But trust me at this time, for a couple of months here, to try to do it this new way. Let's make a pact. Let's make an agreement. And the wise, kind being will take your hand explain to you how he or she will be there always, anytime you need them. And as you step out of the cave, you will find the elevator and you will push the button that is the top of your head. You will become light. You will emanate light. You will experience yourself as light, expanding out, expanding out, expanding out. And you will return to the physical consciousness once you are ready. Okay, everybody. In body, do we need to stretch a little bit? Get back in body, feel it down to your feet, down your legs. Put your little roots into the ground. How did everybody do with that? Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. I felt like I was in that trance state.
Yeah, you probably were.
Yeah.
So
My
it's
war
like,
my warrior self wouldn't give up his sword though.
that's
Mhm.
okay. Another day, another day, another day. Okay. But this allows you to see all these parts of yourself live inside of you. You're not in there all by yourself. Anytime people says to you, you're just by yourself, you're not. All these parts of you are in there with you. Okay? And all these parts have to be acknowledged. All of these parts have to be loved. All of these parts need to feel like we're together. We're working on the same things. Okay? And that's why, like I said, when people say, you know, do you talk to yourself? I say, sure, all the time. And
I
I'm
do
not
too.
always sure which one I'm talking to either. Just depends. Sometimes a part of me will just jump bad out of nowhere. I'm taking over. Wow. Sometimes I'll let it take over for a little while before I'll figure out it's not really what I want to do. We are creatures of habit. And that's why when we learn this stuff, we have to memorize it, and we have to memorize our prayers. We have to memorize our invocations, just like we did in school when we went to school and we had to memorize this and that and the other, so that it's there all the time, so that we don't have to have a book that we have to open up or somebody else to tell us, or that we just have it in there. Okay? So that when I don't know what to do, immediately I start doing my I ams. Immediately I start doing my affirmations. Okay? I've programmed myself to do that rather than sit there and wonder what's wrong with me. I can't think of what I need to do. I just stop that. This is what I do. This is who I am now.
Mhm.
So I feel like I've really reached this point of where I do live in the present. Okay. I don't live in the past and I don't live in the future. I live in the present. And living in the present, I can see how confusing that is for people that don't. Okay.
Mhm. Mhm.
Because to them, it's not a natural thing. But once I got here, I thought this is the most natural thing I ever imagined I could experience.
Mhm.
Because when you're in the present, you don't worry about things. You don't berate yourself. You just go with the flow.
Mhm.
You become the flow. Okay? You become the flow in your own life. We're not perfect. We're humans. We have all this stuff we have to take care of. We have to dust. We have to vacuum. We have to eat. But I don't make that an end all be all do all at all. I just like it'll get done. I'll do it. And maybe I'll do a little bit now, a little bit later, but I'll get it done.
Mhm.
Okay, I don't feel like an urgency that it has to be done right now because I think about it.
Mhm.
Okay. How we doing? Any questions on today, anybody?
Mhm.
No, I think that was a good meditation. I just went really fast. I had everybody gathered up and going, running up the hill and going to the cave and zip, zip, zip.
I love you, Deb.
Thank goodness.
Well, I'm glad you love me too.
I do.
Okay.
Mhm.
Are your shots working better today, or can you tell?
Maybe a little bit.
Mm.
Yeah, not
She's been going through some weird stuff with her back.
Is it getting a little better for you, Dee? Your back?
a little bit, but it's still where I can't go to work yet. So that's the
Oh,
frustrating part. So
yes.
yeah,
Oh, man.
so it's just a long haul. Yeah, maybe surgery.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I'm still waiting to hear about that.
Boy.
Well, I had to clean all the purses out of my closet the other day because I'm now carrying oxygen that I carry. And I'm like, I'm not going to be concerned about wearing purses much anymore.
Mm.
So I cleaned most of them out, certain clothes and jackets that are going to be harder to wear. It kind of reminds me of when I got my ankle done And then I had to get rid of all my shoes
No.
because I had a
Mhm.
45-degree foot, and then I had to wear a piece on it.
Mhm.
So all those other shoes had to go.
Mhm.
You know,
And so to me, it's just like, I'd rather just do it all in one fell swoop,
Mhm.
okay? Than come back and feel like, oh, wow, I can't use that anymore, or I can't do that. I don't want to do that.
Mhm.
It is what it is. Life is what it is,
Mhm.
okay? If it changes at all for me, I want it to change for the better,
Mhm.
okay?
Mhm.
Terry, how you doing? You took a fall too?
Oh, God, yeah.
What happened?
It was 2 weeks ago, last Friday. And you'll like this, Athene. I went out and shoveled. And then I thought, well, I'm gonna go out and shovel the stairs to my deck again so the feral cats can come and eat. So they would be able to get up. And in my head, I heard, put your boots on. I'm like, oh no, I'm just going out for a couple minutes. Put your boots on. No, no, no. So I put on crappy ass shoes. I went out, I got to the second step. I went up. I don't know if I went down a couple of stairs, but I
Mhm.
slammed down and it knocked the wind out of me.
Oh, boy.
And now my oldest brother passed away last January, and he was in the hospital for 171 days, started with a pneumothorax. So as when I landed and I'm trying to catch my breath, and I got my breath and I'm laying on the stairs and it's snowing and it's cold. And I said, Jimmy, this is not a pneumothorax. And so anyway, yeah, I have finally been able to do something the last 2 days. I couldn't bend over. I had to sleep in my recliner. It's pretty painful. But luckily, nothing was broken. I bruised my kidney, but there was no blood in the urine.
Mm.
So yeah,
Yeah, I flew up in the air too. I could have swore I felt myself fly up into the air and spin.
Yeah.
And I'm
Wow.
going, well, that's unusual. And then slam. I'm going, wow.
Wow.
Would have been
Yeah, it
nice if
was-
there was something soft there, But
Yeah.
you
yeah,
know,
but it's getting better finally. I mean,
yeah, and mine it's been a little over a week and it's just starting to get better.
Mhm.
So I do understand.
Mhm.
And I don't know, I think that older people just didn't tell us anything because they figured we'd have to find it out on our own.
yeah,
You gotta be tough to get old.
They'll figure it out.
Mhm.
Okay, well, I don't know what happened to our other person, but they never showed, so that's okay. I told you, I thought this was gonna be the class anyway. All right, if
Mhm.
there's topics that you want me to cover, let me know,
okay.
okay? So I can see if they're appropriate for all of us, okay?
Yeah.
But I want you to remember that subliminal stuff. You
Right.
can sublimate yourself.